We're live. Welcome back, everybody. We have another great episode of Behind the Tool Belt, episode repeat 233. Stay tuned for our short intro from our sponsors. So hang tight, and we'll be right back.
TC Packer. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. Roofing, siding, windows, gutters, solar. TC Packer.
For me, leadership is number one, and then 2 is sales, and 3 is marketing.
Welcome back, everybody, to Behind the Tool Belt. Happy Wednesday, and thank you for joining us on your lunch break. Tim Brown, my man, we have a great guest. Probably my most favorite people. Got to spend a lot of good quality time with him a few weeks back at I guess kind of sort of like a mastermind scuba diving trip called Exhale, hosted by Eric O, and the cult-like culture that he has going on over there, man. Tim Brown, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing great, man. I'm excited to be here. I feel like, honestly, I'm on a lot. It's like the 5th time or something I've been on, but I will say I feel like we have a lot to talk about today.
Most definitely. Well, I mean, going back to, you're one of my favorite people. I feel like our conversations are always very impactful. I think I enjoy our conversations, and I think a lot of people get a good bit of stuff out of the content that we create together, I guess, while being on the show together. So, I mean, I don't think it's a waste of time for you to be here. And like I said, I like who you are, and usually we get to choose. We have the sorry about my backdrop here. We're actually in our Greenville location today. Okay. We had to set up a quick smash lab here in order to bring you in here, and Vic's doing a fantastic job of the lighting and the quality of the sound and picture and everything like that. But getting back to it, it's always fun to have you on the show. So thank you for always being voluntold or volunteering, for coming on the show, buddy.
Absolutely. I guess, what's new with the industry, brother? You're out here just on the front lines, getting shit done.
Yeah.
I'm in the background trying to make leads happen with my team.
Yeah.
What's new for you guys right now?
Man, all kinds of good stuff. So we have, we officially opened up in the past 12 months or so, two new locations. We've hired some really good people, good players, got some really good training put in place, SOPs, KPIs, rolled out our new core values, mission statement, things like that. Because why I mentioned those 3 things, because how cohesively they all work together, starting from the core values, the SOPs, down to the KPIs. Like they can't function without each other. Like it like works in like a harmonious symphony. So you can't have one without the other. And so I'm super stoked about that. We had a brief conversation earlier before we went live about preparing ourselves for 2025. And a lot of that has to do with like our marketing efforts, potential new locations. We're scouting, top talent and things like that, and reviewing the year in review of like, so when we opened up our 3rd location, what mistakes did we make, and how grateful we were to make those mistakes and have learned what we've learned along the way. And I think a lot of people would look at that as a negative, like, oh man, you lost a bunch of revenue, or we didn't have the right people in the seats on the bus and things like that. But it's like, there was a lot that I learned, not just professionally, but personally. Threshold of pain, and making sure we're surrounded by the right people, and how easily duplicatable did we make this thing? And it's like, I guess we didn't. I thought we had it pretty dialed in, but there was some factors that went into play when we first opened this up. We got hit with hail 8 days later, after literally we had opened these doors down here, and we didn't even have laptops or cell phones or iPads for our sales team yet. And so that kind of created some chaos. But we learned so much from it, and I'm grateful. Like I said, I'm grateful. So I'm pretty excited about our losses, and I'm really excited about the wins that we've had, and how quickly now that we are able to adapt. The entire team, and I mean the entire team, all of us were tested about 16 months ago. I think going back about 16 months ago, we opened up the location down in Greenville, and the entire team, and it tested the culture, it tested our team. Were they capable of pivoting and adapting and overcoming adversity and all those things? And it's like it was tried and true. Like we overcame the worst hailstorm in probably 3 years in the Greenville market, and 8 days after we opened the doors, and it was just peak us. And so yeah. Anyhow, not to be all long-winded, but that's kind of what's happening in our world right now.
I mean, my favorite thing, we got to go on the scuba trip, right? And
Yes.
We honestly, I learned a lot of things there, and I'm actually like taking a lot of stuff that I learned. Like I had my entire team read Leadership 101, or my leaders read Leadership 101 that you recommended and discuss. And then I'm also getting an executive assistant, which you recommended. And I'm just going to continue the brain picking, because I honestly, that was the best part. Went on this awesome trip. Honestly, I could say life-changing. So thank you, Eric Oberum, for putting that together. Because I got to be around you and Joe Hoffman and a few other people that I want to be like you, dude. I want to be like you. I want to learn from you, and I want to become a better leader. And I think just learning from people that have been through something before is usually smart. And I mean, not the same business, but as a leader, there's a lot of in business, there's a lot of things that kind of transfer over to whatever business you're a part of. And I want to continue the brain picking by asking. So this morning, I was asking my chief of operations, Cody, back here, who's diligently working. We're at my house, and we're doing an offsite before our quarter kickoff or whatever, just to get our priorities in straight. And I was asking about his personal priorities. Leadership. And I was saying, for me, I'm trying to take, and then 2 is sales, and 3 is marketing. And I often flip them because marketing is so fun. You know what I mean? And I'm actually building that into my days. Monday is about leadership. Tuesday is about sales. Wednesday is about marketing. I was kind of curious if you had, then you can get more specific or even broader, I guess, if you have your top 3 priorities in business as a person who's running a little bit larger of a company and somebody who has a lot of people to watch out for.
Yeah. I mean, the priority is first and foremost is myself, right? And that might sound a little selfish to some people, but if I'm not feeding, I can't feed. I can't feed other people, right? And let's face it, inspiring can be tiring at times. So I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself first and foremost. My diet, my sleeping, my rest, the amount of time I'm spending with family, that work-life blend. I'm very fortunate in that aspect because my family usually comes with me when I travel and do things like that. So that's why I call it work-life blend. And they're all in. So I think who your significant other plays a big, huge role and factor into your leadership role, and how you treat them and how you treat your family, and the respect and the mutual respect that you guys have for each other, and the sacrifices that you make. And really, when building a team, you don't really want to treat them any differently. It's in every relationship, there's sacrifices that need to be made, right? Whether it's she likes to go to the movies, but I don't like to go to the movies. It's actually opposite of that. I enjoy going to the movies, and she just would rather stay home and make popcorn in the microwave and watch TV, but she'll sacrifice because she knows I enjoy doing that. So really, when you think about leadership on a macro scale, it's really no different, unless you're just a shitty parent or husband. It's really no different than how you're treating your team, right? There's sacrifices you got to make, right? There's things that I don't like that are very painful for me, but I know it's not about me, it's about them. And especially early on in business, I just posted a reel last night, and it said something about like, entrepreneurship, like all everybody sees is like, okay, he's making a lot of money. And, you know, but the bottom line is the worry that we go through, especially early on, it's like, am I going to pay my guys or am I going to pay my mortgage this week? Right. Well, for us, and when we first got started, it was always about the team. And fortunately, my parents instilled that in me, where it was like, because I watched them, they were entrepreneurs. My mom and dad has owned a restaurant and bar and a catering business for 41 years. This year actually was 41 years. So I kind of grew up in that atmosphere of 7 days a week, 365 days, like the bar never closed, and the work ethic and how they catered to their team, and not just their team, but the patrons that visited the bar and the restaurant, right? Like they came first. Like, unfortunately, when my parents got home, and this is something else I learned from them, when they got home, us kids got the fumes. We got the crumbs of our parents. We got the negativity. We got, all that stuff that they stuffed all day long. So I got to experience them, taking care of their teams, their teams' families, and putting their team before them. But that's where I said earlier, it's like, in the background when I'm not at work, or even when I'm at work, I spend, when I get to the office first thing in the morning, I at 7 a.m. on my calendar, I have in there, it says, get clear on my vision. Every 7 days a week, 7 a.m. is get clear on my vision. And what I mean by that is like, what am I doing? Like, what is the vision for me today? And what am I doing to take care of myself? So I'm either listening to a John Maxwell book, or I'm listening to Ed Milet podcast, or I'm working on something. A lot of these books that come with a PDF, I actually do those PDFs. And I'll spend 15, 20, 30 minutes in the morning actually working on whatever it is. It could be a financial book. I can't think of the author's name, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad. There was a great PDF that came with that book, right? So like there for a minute, I was working on that. Right now, what I'm working on right now is Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, so good. So I'm actually, I went to Staples. I had a ring binder made into this, and I gave one to my executive assistant because she needs to know what it is that I'm doing, because she plays a big part in this, right? So hopefully I answered your question. But
no, that's so good, man. I it's funny because I'm taking that too. So I took the book.
Mm-hmm.
I got the executive assistant starting Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also taking the hour in the morning.
Yeah.
Which I think that one's really good. And
like
like
after you get to
obviously,
the office. Yeah, after you get to the office, like
yeah.
doing the 30 minutes or an hour before you get to the office to like put your armor on before you go out, like stack those mini wins. And the first win is that I opened my eyes, I put my feet on the floor, and I'm sucking another sober breath. Boom, victory, right? Then I go, I read my 2 daily affirmation books. I spend some time with my dogs. I spend some time with Rocket before he gets on the bus. Like I'm doing all of these things, and I thank him every day for allowing me the opportunity to go out and have an impact on other people's lives. And typically at that time, I pray for other people, for everything that I want for myself, especially those that I may be irritated with. So I armed myself. I get to work now. I actually get to work on some things that will actually benefit my team later. Right. Yes, I'm improving the quality of whatever set mind skill or set that I'm working on. Right. A specific topic, right, that I need to strengthen myself. Yes, I'm bettering myself, but in turn, by me bettering myself, it is improving the quality of the company, because that's what I really focus on, is improving the quality of the company, right? It's not like this eggshell facade that we have. It's a huge foundation. It's a machine, and it's thriving, right? So like I'm at the helm, and that there's with success, and why anybody elected me to do this, I have no idea, but I better suit up and show up. Okay. I better suit up and show up and bring my A game. So I continuously have to work on myself at times. Sometimes
I think it's probably, Ty, it's probably because you're buffing stuff.
I am buffing stuff. I'm about 80 some days into my Fearless 44 here, and I'm feeling pretty buff and stuff.
Ty buffing stuff backer.
There you go. So that's why I say, like, it starts here, right? And sometimes, like, you got to stay 5 steps ahead of your team, because if you're instilling in them, self-improvement, well, I can't let them outshine me either, Do you know what I mean? So like, I almost need to stay 5 steps ahead, but also what got us here won't get us where we want to go either. So what books I read probably 5, 6 years ago, yes, some of them I have to read, on a yearly basis, but there's also new things coming out. There's new podcasts coming out. There's new trainings coming out, and even sales training. Like, there's sales trainings that go back 100 years ago that some people are still implementing today. Right.
Mhm.
Well, if you think that what worked 100 years ago is going to work today, which I arguably 50% of it probably does, but I really feel like buyers' behaviors have changed today as well. So if you're not like expanding and thinking about people's behaviors and market changes, and economic changes and things like that. So what worked for us during COVID, where it was super simple to close jobs, is not going to happen in today's market or economic climate.
So there's Sandler training, which I think a lot of people will tie the current state of home services and roofing sales coaching back to.
Mhm.
Let's say a lot of people will say a method that insert guru name here suggests is from I like to hit those keywords,
Yeah.
this training is from that. And I
Mhm.
do agree with you. I think like there's a lot of these little methods, like, right, about like kindness as a strategy kind of stuff that it's positive, but it might be a strategy, right? And then there's stuff where there's permission-based selling, which I think is the last few 10 years, like where it's like you get somebody's permission, you get them to stack yeses,
Mhm.
and it feels very strategic. I like sales training. I like role play in particular.
Mhm. That's good.
Like, I think no matter what, role play is good for leadership scenarios, to be honest with you. Role play is awesome. Sales coach, like, I think I talked about this with Matt Mulholland on my podcast recently. It was like sales training without technical training is kind of nonsense, though. Like, that's why I like niche sales trainers for whichever niche, whether it's roofing or other niches like
Mhm.
HVAC plumbing, like to have somebody that knows the details of the system, right?
Yeah.
That you're doing. Like the best sales guys I've seen know the systems. They know the details of the products. They're not just wielding some surface level, like manipulative nonsense. And I do think like what's changed in the last 20 to 40 years, really, like, because
Mhm.
Sailor is like 80s, I think.
Yeah.
What's changed a lot is like, one, people have pricing information available. They can go to the internet and, they can Google a price, just, and then they also like, I think people are just we're flooded with information,
Yeah.
basically.
For sure.
So like
For sure.
you can't withhold information to try to like get like, oh, I'm just gonna wait to give them a price after I've like done a 2-hour presentation. I think
Right.
that that's just flipped around a little. Like they have a little bit more like a consumer, a homeowner has more control, just like
Mhm.
with reviews, because reviews, like, now they can review us. Like, you think about 20 years ago, there wasn't all these platforms to review, and it's flipped now where it's like you can kind of sense the reputation of a company by Googling them and looking at their like Google business profile. And so I think that those are like the biggest like changes in culture that like have to affect the way we sell things. Like, we
Yeah.
have to know the homeowner is probably smart.
For sure. I mean, it is it's a data driven world today. Okay. So
Yeah.
people do a lot of research. Okay. And like just the car dealership industry, the car industry is taken. I don't even want to say it's taken a big hit, but it's come to the point, and I hear this every time that I would go to a dealership. It's like, nah, there's not really much more meat on the bone because of the internet, right? You hear that a lot. But let's talk a little bit about like buyers' behaviors. Okay, so right now we have more generations of people on Earth than we've ever had. Okay, so we still have some baby boomers. We got Gen Xers. We got Gen Zers. we got millennials, and I kind of got them out of order there a little bit. And I think there's one more generation right now, Gen X.
Gen Alpha is after Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha. So there's 5 or 6. Okay. So do you think the buyer, the behavior of the buyer would be the same as, the baby boomer or millennial?
Yeah.
I don't think so. So that's where I think, like, all facets of sales techniques, you need to have your point pretty sharp to be able to know, and when you go into that home, the approach that you might need to take.
Yeah. Because it's kind of per that group. I'm hoping to make a video with my dad soon, just as a way to connect with him. But like, he's helping me with a repair on my garage, a roof repair. And he told me, he's like, I could build a house from scratch if you give me the long enough timeline. Like, I'm like, geez, Dad. Okay. He likes to flex that type of stuff. He's electrical engineer, but
that was a great interview that you did with him and your brother, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fantastic, man. I love that family, and you can really tell that you guys all love each other. That was a great video.
And crazy inspired by them, because he went out on his own, when he was like 2 years away from 10-year or whatever, like he could retire if he wanted to. He went out on his own. So he took that risk. It's not like 20 years ago, but and he's still chugging. He's stubborn as a mule, he's like one of those guys. He has to do the blueprint stuff himself. He's
old school.
I'm trying to teach him how to pass, if I could teach him anything, it would be to delegate and to be okay with 80%, but anyways, he likes his work. He loves his work, but, the difference between the two generations there, he would do it himself if it's a small repair.
Right.
Of course. I would not ever usually. I'm going to with him because it's fun, but that's a beautiful thing for the next 10 years of home service, because my type is going to be the predominant, or there's going to be more homeowners with my type of brain, which is outsource everything kind of thing. 100%. I'm going to have a guy do the lawn thing vibe, even if it's for roofing and other exterior construction things. Just more and more homeowners are going to of course I outsource that, and I think that's a that's one reason I think private equity is rushing in. They know consumer behavior has changed in that way. And I think that's just one of 5 kind of cultural streams that is pushing in the direction of more value to the home improvement industry. And I think, I also, the funny thing was that Leadership 101 book, he was talking about Gen Xers. No, he was talking about boomers, but he was talking about them like they're millennials, because it's a little bit of an older book.
Yes.
And you realize boomers at one point, they called all the things that they're saying about millennials right now. They were saying that about boomers 20 years, 30 years ago. It's so funny that it's
the whole world's like that. Even with the riots and stuff like that. What do you think was happening in the 70s? You know, when Vietnam War was going on and stuff like that. I mean, we tend to repeat a lot of things, the behaviors and actions and things like that of the whole world. But I'm glad you got back to the leadership thing there, because I had a question for you when you're talking about Monday's leadership, and then, Tuesdays is marketing and stuff like that. So what do you do on Mondays? If you're focusing on leadership, are you just studying something all day on Monday, or
so we have all of our L10s, we call them traction, traction, but
okay.
Books, it's basically a system for your vision and mission, and your L10s is part of it, which is a leadership or a meeting pulse. So we do there's a couple meetings on Monday. And my teams, we have 5 separate teams within the company that kind of have their L10, level 10, meaning most meetings are a little bit like a 6. And then essentially an L10, level 10 meeting is supposed to be a 10. Everyone is engaged and ready for this, and you have high energy. So we do all those meetings, and then I'm right now with this emphasis to be more on leadership is just like kind of strategic one-on-ones with a few people that like kind of need some, like whatever,
In time.
like either something's going really well or something's not going well, or I'm like kind of pushing into a new thing with them. But I think it's also just, back in the 70s, talking about the 70s, they had this book called Leadership by Walking Around. It's also that, and it's, the truth is like I said, I've got the chief of operations back here. He would probably be like, Tim, you've been gone like 5 out of the last 10 Mondays. So STFU, but that's, that too. Like I've been traveling a little bit in events and different things, but
that's what it's about. That's why you built your team the way that you did.
But when I'm there, that's kind of the intention.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. I just wanted to hear a little more about that. I didn't know if that was like the day that you worked on stuff. And that's a good point where you kind of have it broken out like that. Tuesdays are our executive L10 meetings and stuff like that. And then we have level 6 meetings throughout the different departments. And then once a month.
Level 6 on 6.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, given it a range of importance, I guess like 10 is the level 10 of importance and the
I thought you were making a joke. Sorry.
Yeah. No, kind of.
Can we talk about Ty? I apologize.
No, go ahead.
Just to switch this up,
That's why I love having you on here.
I want to confuse our watchers and listeners by going to random. I like to inject a little bit of news into stuff I'm on because like in this moment, this could be like your roofing news a little bit. And then lately on roofing social media, we've had a lot of, I would say skepticism towards guru culture.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess just to kick it off, what is your vibe on like the coaches that I understandably feel a little, sometimes it feels like there's too many people doing it, but like, what is your perspective on that? And I'd love to share mine a little bit too.
My perspective, I think there should be coaches first and foremost, right? But it's got to be the right coach and what validates you to be a coach. What gave you the authority in that space, whatever it is that you're coaching in, it could be personal, it could be business, it could be very specific, the roofing industry or the plumbing industry or the marketing industry. But I think there's probably a lot of people out there, because like you said, it's like this this culture right now of this, everybody wants to be a guru, right? And I think it's a good thing, but I think it's just like the roofing industry. There's so many shitheads that are roofing contractors right now, and over the years have given the roofing industry kind of like a check mark against it. Like, it's an industry full of drunks and drug addicts, and we call them, they don't answer the phone, they don't show up. And so I think, and my fear is, that may happen at some point in time to this guru industry that's being developed right now. Right. Like, so it's just another industry, another facet for someone to generate revenue. And I think, if their intentions are accurate and really want to pour into other people, the money will come. Right.
Yeah.
It's just like anything else. Any good business has found, a solution to somebody's problem. I mean, and that's where, that's some of where like success comes into play. It's like, okay, I invented this thing. It solved all these problems and they became very successful because of it. So guru, I guess, I don't even know what the word means. If you look it up in the dictionary, I would love to know.
I always ask when somebody, like I see people talking smack about coaches and gurus on the internet. I honestly, a lot of times I just send them a DM and I ask, who are we talking about? I think partly it's because, and I should say, it's almost like I'm invested in the stock. You know what I mean? I should almost disclose I'm invested in the stock because a lot of coaches in the industry send us business.
Okay.
And so like I have some vested interest in the good ones doing well, right? Like, because we closed a deal from a coach this week, which I'm excited about, and I'm like, and I like that there's people guiding people that have done it before. I think that's the crucial piece, like done something like this before and done it at a pretty significant level, not just coming from, like, and I don't want to more the lack. I think there's very few of them. If I had to say it, I feel like there's very few of those though. But I mean, maybe I'm not getting the DMs that you guys are getting. That's like, hey, I did, $2 million revenue 15 years ago. Come like take my course. But like what I'm saying is like, I think that there's a lot of, most of them are really good that I've seen, the ones that I see the most. And so when I see people talk smack, kind of like, just like they do about agencies, which there are 90% or whatever that are, there's a lot of bad ones. I understand, but I'm also like, it's kind of bad in a way because some people need it.
Yeah.
Some people really need some guidance. I've had business coaches. I've had several business coaches.
Me too.
And I'm so grateful for everything. Like even there's one guy that like was an early business. I know he's not going to watch this, so I'm just going to throw it out there. Was an early business coach. Hadn't done a ton of what this is, that he probably didn't do what I'm doing right now, but like he really gave me some really important stuff. Now it was up to me after 9 months or a year or whatever, whether I was going to renew my like retainer with him. And I didn't, but I did get like 5 really good nuggets. Like any good accountability partner will give you 5 really good nuggets. So I don't know. I think I just want to encourage people out there that are trying to be the right, like good business coaches. Don't let like their identity go to your head. And then also I'd encourage contractors out there, do get a coach at different levels of your business. Do get like I think I don't always have a coach. Every once in a while I'll go like a year or 2 without somebody. Like, but I like having something there. That's accountability. It's hard as a leader when you don't actually have another leader. Like as a business owner, there's no other leader.
Yeah. And you nailed it, the accountability piece of it too. And this is the thing too. I think what they're with all the hubbub that we're seeing on social right now, bashing gurus and stuff, I really feel like it's those that are snapping pictures of their Rolexes and those that are sitting in a rented Lambo, like, hey, look at me, I'm so successful, hire me. And I think that's kind of where this is coming from, most of it, right? But the accountability piece of the most successful people in the world have all had coaches. Tim Grover, who, I mean, he coached Michael Jordan, Colby, and the list goes on, right? So everybody, and he had multiple coaches. Michael Jordan had multiple. It could have been a physical therapist. It could have been he had Tim Grover, and then he had his head coach. I can't think of his name right now with the Chicago Bulls. So right there out of the rip, he's had 3 different coaches for different facets of his life where he saw he needed improvement upon, right?
Phil Jackson.
There you go. Exactly. Phil Jackson. Right. So my point is that you could outgrow a coach, right? But
also this because somebody asked.
Oh, there you go.
These were a limited edition. There was 1,000 printed.
Yeah, I got one.
No longer being printed. This is we're that was the 2023 Hook Agency. Now 2024 is going to be a whole new drop this fall.
Nice. I love it. I love that.
Right.
No, that's okay. So, I would say if someone's looking to hire a coach, or a mentor or whatever the case is, this is the thing too about mentorship. I've had many mentors over the years from a distance. I've followed people. There's a guy in our local town that is an amazing investor. He wholesales houses, he flips, he buys, he holds, he rents them, he does all kinds of things. And we've done work for him for a long time. And he's mentored me, whether he knows it or not, for over a decade when it comes to, properties and investments and things like that. And of course, I've asked him questions, but I didn't have to pay a dime for it. I think that's where some people want to act like they know everything or their ego or pride will get in the way and aren't willing to ask for help. Okay. So there's mentorship where you can, listen to Ed Milet or Bedro Koulian or whoever, and that could be some form of mentorship, but to step up, your game a little bit and be super intentional and actually pay for a coach, you're gonna if you're paying for it, right, make sure they do your due diligence on them, right? Like are they in a place where you want to go, right? Because that's what I looked for in a coach. When I hired Tony to be my coach, Tony has saw figures that I've never saw before. He sold a 9-figure business.
Mhm.
Okay, but hey, I need if I need to surround myself around people who have done 9 figures if we want to do
Yeah.
9 figures.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's kind of where, and that's the thing, the
Yeah.
mentors and the coaches that I've ever have had over the years, not necessarily have outgrown them, because a lot of them I still talk to today because they've done continual growth and continue learning and things like that. But I sought somebody that bought, sold, flipped businesses for multiple figures and things like that, and does have a coaching business that I actually like, because I do coach people as well too. It's nothing that we advertise yet.
I was just going to ask you that, Ty, because I think that the hard part is sometimes guys like you don't. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like people will talk smack about it, but then it's like, are you going to help them? Like,
Yeah, right.
and as long as you are, great. Like,
Mhm.
and talk all the smack you want, I guess.
Yeah. But I think it's how they carry themselves. That's where the shit's coming from right now, where people are bashing gurus. There's so many people. It's an industry that's been developed now
Yeah.
that we're it's kind of in its infant stage.
And it's pretty good. Like, it seems like the money is pretty good in that industry.
Yeah, it could be. It could be, because it's really invaluable if you think about the education and the accountability that you're getting from a coach that has been where you want to go. What kind of price tag can you actually put on that if you're applying? See, that's the other part of it too. People can talk shit on a coach. You know what I mean? This guy could be the greatest thing ever and has sold many businesses and retired at an early age or whatever. But if you're not actually applying what this individual is sharing with you, or taking notes, jotting things down, or you haven't asked the right questions, because that's the other thing too. It works both ways, because I've sat on calls already and got off the call and kind of thought, well, that sucked. That was a shitty call, but I didn't have the right questions to ask because they're not mind readers either.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not being open and honest and transparent with them, they can't help me to begin with. So, it takes both of us to make this thing, successful. If you're going to hire a coach, I don't suggest someone going out and hiring Bedro or Ed Milet for $500,000 or $250,000 a year, or even $100,000 a year. But I think, like you said, Tim, there's definitely a good bit of money that somebody could make, but I think their intentions need to be, they want to be able to pour into somebody because they know what leadership's about, because there's 2 different types of leadership. There's, getting back on the leadership kick here, just for a second, there's what I call servant leadership, which is very catchy now, a catchphrase, but there's also what we don't talk enough about, I think, is that selfish leadership.
Mm-hmm.
That I think most people that want to get into a leadership position and act like they're helping people, but really their ulterior motive is just to climb the corporate ladder, which will have you become successful only to a certain extent once people start to figure out that, okay, this guy or gal or individual doesn't necessarily care for me. That's about as far as it will take you. But if your intentions are pure and you really get a fulfillment and joy out of pouring into other people, that in itself, it just makes you feel fulfilled. And that's where success for me happens and takes place, is when I'm actually pouring into people. Hence why this is how the podcast even got started, was we needed a platform to plug our charitable events that was happening in our local communities, so like, that's what it's all about. If you want to know the key to success, and for a guru or an entrepreneur or anybody in a management or leadership position, is you need to understand the fact that now you are removed from the equation and it's about everything and everyone else, and you come last.
That's good. And I see a lot of, I'm just going to take a moment to encourage the gurus out there. I see a lot of you that are doing the right things.
Guru.
And you guys, I appreciate everything you do, especially the ones that have done some real numbers before and are trying to help people. Like, that's hard.
100%.
And I think what I see, like, I've always been confused. Like, what
We
is
need them.
the motivation I think a lot of people don't realize, like, once you have a certain amount of money, the next thing is like meaning. You know what I mean? Like, I need meaning in my life. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt that you have the things you want and need in your life, Ty. Not to out you as a guy who has some money, but like you have the things. I have the things that I mean, certainly I could get a nicer house or something like that. But like I like I have a lot of the things I want. I don't really like go without, and like at a certain point, then it's like, okay, I don't care to just like double my money anymore. I really want to like try to make this more meaningful and maybe make a little bit more, but you know what I'm saying? Like the point is a lot of these guys
Totally.
are trying to get meaning and significance by helping people. And that's, I think, a positive move. Zach Fisher says, I love when people talk shit. It lets me hear from others that they still watch me. I was just saying that the other day. I was like, I actually have back in the day, I would put out a lot of content. It's like like even more content sometimes than I do now. Like, and people weren't watching it at all. 0 eyeballs. Like, I'm talking like 2 views, 2 views. And one of them was my mom. One of them was me watching it later.
Mm-hmm.
And then like very rarely had a hater. And like now I'll get like a nasty Facebook message or like somebody like an anonymous email form submission from the website or something. And I'm like, it hurts for a little bit, but then I'm also like, that's more views than I had before.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for like, that is a positive of it. It's like, I have enough people watching it that there's like a few people that hate me.
Mm-hmm. No.
Right.
And you know what's crazy about that, Tim, is that we need that. It's almost as good as having competition. We all know competition is good.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what makes us all better. Right. So we need to hear, even if it's true or not true, being human beings, we see it, we hear it, we feel it. Right. As much as we want to say we don't care what other people think of us and we don't care what actually other people say about us, like we do. Okay. Yeah. Even if it's just a little bit, we do care. We're human beings, right? Unless you're a narcissist or cold-hearted or whatever the case might be, because there are people out there like that. But if you are a human being, right, like you and I are, and I know you are.
Yeah, no, totally.
It bothers us, but it motivates us. So like Zach was saying, it's like almost like thank you, because I even said this before to somebody, like be careful on who you piss off, because they just may end up building an empire over that resentment. Okay. So like, that's the thing, like, thank you for talking shit on me, right? Thank you for holding me back. Thank you for not allowing me to, or thank you for telling me I couldn't, right? Because those are the negative affirmations I need to hear once in a while. And sometimes, quite frankly, wake me back up like, oh shit, maybe I was asleep at the wheel. Whether I was or not, it doesn't matter, but it keeps me on my toes. Because if things was all tiptoeing through the tulips and shit all the time, like where would the real growth come from? Do you know what I mean? Like I need that. Like, so you can almost categorize that into competition, adversity, and shit talkers. Like I need all of that.
And I think the other thing that we have, you and I both have, like you have a lot of customers, and as you know, and I know, they're relentlessly requiring improvements, right? Like they'll never. I think Jeff Bezos calls it like divine discontentment. And like, if we're the ones that get to service that customer and get to like learn from, not always a mistake, sometimes it's just people want more. And he's like, down to like what is it? Like I order something and 5 minutes later, something like arrives at the door and you're like, holy shit.
I was thinking that earlier. So funny you brought him up, because I was thinking it's become an Amazon world. And when I talk about buyers' behaviors, like a baby boomer got it. Like, yeah, I won't be here till 6 weeks, right? We won't be able to put your roof on for 6 weeks. But today's generations, it's like, oh my God, what do you mean I got to wait 2 days before you can put my roof on? Well, it's like they're calling for a week worth of rain. Well, what do you mean? You still get? It's like, well, we can't, and then that's going to push our schedule back. So like, I think we've really, at least for us, our eyes really opened up during COVID on how much more massaging the millennials is the largest generation, whether you guys know this or not. It's the largest generation that this earth has ever experienced. Okay. There's more first time home buyers right now. That's who's buying homes right now. Okay. So to sharpen your skills on their behaviors, and let's talk about products too. The products are different than they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Like the colors that were hot back then, like the pebblestone clays and the white fascia and stuff like that, dude. People don't want to hear that.
What
They
are the
want
colors that are hot for you guys right now?
black shutters,
I want black
black,
windows, dude.
black windows, black, white.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Black is like the new white. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, that's what back in the day it was all like white fascia, white gutters, white shutters, windows, things like that. Now it's like the trend right now is like red, the real dark reds and and the blues and the greens with all black trim.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely do you see white being put, especially
Like
on new
10
homes.
years ago, it was almost like everything was white and like clapboard. Like, what is it? That one thing that got really popular, like the shiplap. Like it was like the farmhouse style, everything like 10, 15 years ago, everything was that. So it's just crazy how like it swung.
Right. Like you got to keep up on that stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to stay relevant, like those are the things that you really need to. And it's like you were talking about Sandler and, and in the home sales. I believe that the sale for at least our industry takes place out in the front yard. Get them outside, get them looking at their house, get them looking at the neighbor's house. Everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, So it's like, I feel my type of sales technique, and I'm not saying you don't go in and grab the check from them, after you made the sale out in the yard, and I'm not saying that you don't go in if it's raining or it's too hot or it's too cold outside. But I always felt like when, most of our deals came from the conversations, and it was really very little even talking about their house or the neighbor's house. It was more so just a conversation of getting to know them and them getting to know us and the company story and where we came from and things like that. For me, all this, and I like how Gary Vee, I think it was I don't know which book it was, but what made me think of it was it's that jab, right hook. So like give, and take kind of mentality, like, and I'm giving myself, I'm giving my time, I'm giving them the value, who we are, what the company is, the warranties, and all of these things, and then ask for the sale. Like, once they get to know me, they know my wife's name, they know my dog's name, if they have dogs and they're into dogs, all these conversations that can be had out in the front yard. We don't need to be in the house. We're talking about the exterior of a home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It should happen at the tailgate of my truck where all my samples are, to show them as they're looking at the sample board and they're looking at their house and they're like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you like those windows there? The neighbor has white wrap on it. How about this? What if we wrapped them in black? Ooh, man, that would be.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm in. You know what I mean? And that's the technique, and that's my own technique. I didn't really learn it anywhere. It's just in 2020, March of 2020, I sold $1 million worth of stuff in 3 months, 90 days. When COVID broke out, I had to resharpen my skills once again without even a CRM. We didn't even have a CRM at that time. We were just implementing it. So I was still using Excel spreadsheets and stuff
What
like that.
CRM are you on right now? Just
Job Progress.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that rant there, but this has all kind of been going through my head.
Oh, no, this is great. This is great. Yeah. I want to, before we wrap up, I don't know what time we're wrapping up, but I wanted to talk scuba and sharks.
Yeah.
I know we talked about it a little bit. But it's been some time.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, like, that experience for me was kind of big. Because it was like I confronted the fear. Like I just really didn't, my brain was not computing breathing underwater. Which I didn't really think it was going to be that as hard as it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I was mostly scared about the pressure. So just for a little bit of background, Ty and I went on a trip, Cayman Islands. We went scuba diving. I think it was it was our first time in the ocean.
Yes.
Scuba diving, and they brought us down pretty far, pretty quick. And I think and it's really not that hard once you get into it, but like all the tests that you do, like take off your mask and you unplug your air and all these different things. And those things were like very nerve wracking for me in particular. But damn, was it kind of a formative experience, I think, because I also like needed to, my big lesson was like, I needed to slow down. I literally like drank less caffeine. I meditated. I was using vision. I was using everything in my tool belt that I had,
Mhm.
like using vision, like envisioning myself Friday, like shaking everyone's hand and like them being proud of me. And then I was like telling myself a story because I think story is part of what helps us be motivated. So I was
Mhm.
telling myself that story and how it would look and how it would feel. And anyways, so by the end of it, we did have that moment where we were shaking hands. But in the meantime, tell the brief story of the us going down the first time on the second day.
First time on the second day
Yeah.
when the time that I got lost from you guys, or
Oh, sorry, that was the third
the
day.
second or third day. Well, okay. So Tim, I'll be honest
You
with
were
you.
doing tests with us still with the
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, the tests were the worst part of it because they got us doing all the scary stuff. They got us, and I think both of us felt the same way. Like, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore because like they got us
Yeah.
ripping our mask off. They got us, basically running, like pulling your not the respirator, but the oxygen thing out of
Yeah.
your mouth, and just doing all kinds. Like, we had to take our tanks off underwater and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And it wants to float, and I'm not floating with it, and then trying to get it back on, and
Yeah.
allowing your mask to float, like all of the uncomfortable stuff. But looking back now, how important all of that would be or is if something would go wrong. So,
Mhm.
but it was to the point where it was so uncomfortable. But Tim and I were kind of like buddies because it's a buddy system thing.
Mhm.
Okay, so when I saw his fear, or he saw my fear, it was like we both were like encouraging each other. Like, and what was cool about it is that we actually got to do this together. And we'd go down there, and Tim is 6 foot, what, 3?
I think 9 now. 6'9".
6'9". Yeah, dude, like
He's getting taller.
this dude is the tallest, like world's
The
tallest.
motherfucker on the planet, dude.
Yeah,
People tell me that when they see me in person because I look short like on video, but
yeah,
like
like,
there's more to the body. There's actually legs.
yes. So he's 6'9". He's the world's tallest scuba diver. Okay. So he's down there, and it's like me, after looking at some of the videos and stuff like that, at least they kept telling me, like, I guess, like, I'm like trying to ride a bike when I'm down there with my legs. Okay. But like, you got to have your feet or your
Yeah.
legs out and kind of like use your hips. But like, my brain's just like Tim said, like, my brain didn't work down there
Yeah.
because I'm more like, I'm going to die.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
going
The
to
whole time I
drown.
was thinking about death.
Yeah. That's all it kept going through my
Because
mind.
if you like go up too quick, your shit
Mhm.
pops. You're like,
Yeah.
you
Can't
literally pop.
Yeah, can't go down too quick, can't go up too quick. And it's
Yeah.
like all these things are going through your mind. Like, if I run out of oxygen right now, am I going to be able to hold my breath for a minute or 2 or 5? I don't know. Is my buddy going to be close enough to me so I can steal his oxygen? Is he going to have enough oxygen left? Well, oh shit, by the way, as I'm thinking all this stuff, how much oxygen do I have left?
Yeah. So
And then,
that's the mode we're in. And as we're doing one of these tests,
yes,
you got to tell the moment when you saw the shark.
the moment I saw the shark, yes. Man, I feel like there's something you want me to say, but I can't think of
Were
it.
you with us when we were down in there in the semicircle and on the bottom doing like the tests? Because like everyone was pointing at my face.
Yes.
I literally like I can't even remember properly because
Yeah,
I literally like
I can't either.
so we turn around
There
and
was definitely sharks behind you.
there's a shark behind me, and apparently I didn't see it for a while, but it was kind
No.
of close to my head. It was like 7-8 feet off.
Yes. There was
And
actually
so-
more of them. You can actually see, believe it or not, water's not as clear as you think it is. So
Yeah.
you can't see real far away, which kind of freaks you out a little bit, even with your goggles on. But
Yeah.
not only was there like a 7-foot shark that almost took Tim's head off down there, but there was, you could see like the silhouette of like 2 more. Like, and I have no idea because your depth perception's
I
off
didn't
down
even see those two.
Yeah, so there was 2 more back there, and I don't even know what did anyone mention what type of shark it was.
I'm not sure. They said they wouldn't bite us, but like that's not a lot of like if you haven't seen a shark before in person,
Yeah.
like if you don't touch them, they'll probably not bite you. It's like, well, I don't even know what I'm doing down here. I'll probably touch them accidentally.
Yeah. But it was great because I think people go diving dozens of times, if not hundreds of times, to go see sharks and don't see sharks. And with this being Tim and I's second day of diving in the ocean, we actually got to see a shark, but not just a shark. We got to swim with a turtle. I don't know what day it was.
Yeah.
But there was like this 200-year-old turtle. Day 3? Yeah, probably the last. Yes, I think you're right because we weren't training anymore. And I felt so much more relaxed. And I think that's where a lot of my fear came from was like, what are they going to have us do today? You know what I mean? And we didn't know what it was. But day 3, it was much more relaxed. We actually went down 130 feet. And I don't think you're necessarily supposed to do that. Like that.
I don't think you're supposed to see sharks while you're training.
Like that early on, in dive training, but we did because it was our 3rd day. And I think because we did adapt so well, they felt comfortable. Our trainers felt comfortable enough to have us go down.
You adapted well, Doc. I was still freaking out. But it was, oh my God, it was so fun. I will say, like, I don't think I would have done it if I knew that the 2nd day they're going to bring me by sharks and the 3rd day they're going to take me to 130 feet.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like entrepreneurship. And we can wrap up with this.
Love it.
I don't know if you'd do it if you knew everything that was going to hit you. Like, I don't think anyone would do entrepreneurship if you told you every like kind of detail, like, hey, by the way, the 2nd day you're going to see sharks and they're going to be 10 feet from you. Because entrepreneurship is like that. The 2nd year, you're going to see a recession or whatever, and then you might go way deeper than you thought you were gonna, and it's really kind of all consuming. And if you take out your mask, you're dead. The point is none of us would do a lot of the things that are super hard if we had to know everything in advance. So that's why it's just take it one day at a time. And let's just survive today and try to be useful to someone today. Try to be kind today.
Yeah. And just breathe.
Just breathe.
That's the thing you got to remember, because I think, you got to reprogram your brain to not to breathe through your nose. It's only, through your mouth. Everything that we've been taught over our whole life, whether you're stressed out, breathe into your nose, out through your mouth, meditating into your nose, out through your mouth, all these things that we've continuously have been taught and trained and born with is the exact opposite when you go underwater. But I think one of the biggest things was to just breathe. Hence, I think, the name of the mastermind group was exhale. Like, don't forget to exhale.
Breathing is so important in life, man. It's crazy how important. What's the equivalent of that for entrepreneurship? The whole, like, you're taught to do it this way, but when you're an entrepreneur, you got to do it that way.
Learn to adapt and learn to adapt quickly, learn to make decisions quickly, and be as decisive as you possibly can with the information that you have, and do not be indecisive with your team. That's it in a nutshell, but not to get off topic here. I'm going to reel back over to the diving experience was, that adversity, that adaptability, that overcoming has made us better individuals, better fathers, better leaders, because if we wouldn't have followed through with this, what would happen when adversity, recession, depression, whatever the case might be, whatever challenge we have to overcome, what would we be able to overcome it if we wouldn't have pushed ourselves this far outside the boundaries of comfortability? Because I don't know about you, Tim, this was probably one of the best experiences that I've ever pushed myself out of the realm of comfortability. I thought that I had getting comfortable with uncomfortable pretty licked.
Yeah.
Not when it came to diving. when it came to diving, that was a whole nother realm of uncomfortability.
Absolutely. I've had some things happen to me or whatever in my life that were worse experiences, but nothing that I volunteered for.
Most definitely.
That was like a pretty, like, there was moments in there that were like just very scary, because breathing is, God, how important is breathing and breath. And it just feels like your whole brain, your whole body just fights against the idea in weird ways. And I don't think it was as bad for some people, but I think you and I both had that resistance.
For
I
sure.
think the resistance is it's survival. You were probably like, I think some, you like, I've got this business, I've got this kid, I got to survive. And I'm thinking the same thing. I got this young kid. Like, you get in your head,
Big time. And it's really cool how how you did some exercises to help push yourself through this. And like the end, like you envisioned yourself at the end of this. Once I complete this, I see myself shaking everybody's hands and high fiving and how they make me feel by like acknowledging the fact of completing this so uncomfortable event that we went through. And not only that, this was the thing that helped get me through it too, is like, Tim, we talk about surrounding ourselves with people, kind of going into the whole coaching thing, right? Like, those are the people I want to hang out with that are okay with scuba diving. Okay. Because they're the people that have gone to places, boldly gone where I've never gone before. And those are the kind of people, those are the rooms. Those are the depths of the ocean I want to go to, right? With these people that have been here before, the experience that they have. Those are the people. So I looked at this very metaphorically in many different ways of like, okay, I want to be around these people that have done this and are encouraging me to get my certification, to go with them, right? Right. And then to overcome that adversity, which now there's been a couple instances since we've been back where it's like, dude, if I got through scuba diving and swimming with sharks and turtles at 130 feet, like this is a piece of freaking cake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've used it. Like, I've thought about moments that have happened. Like, I can get through anything if I can do this, because that has gone against, scuba diving goes against everything that my body is telling me that I want or not want to do. Right. Like, just everything, like from the pressure, like you were saying, the pressure in your head, the pressure in your lungs, the going down too slowly. Like I had to really take directions and follow, not just listen, but I had to follow the directions. There was just so many metaphoric instances and things that we could pull from just that scuba diving event that I've applied already into my life numerous times. So I'm grateful that you were there. I'm grateful that we got to bond at the airport, and even before that, the ride to the airport, I think. And then the whole experience of being underwater and knowing that we were going through this together. Like, look, I'm here with Tim frickin' Brown learning how to dive right now. Like, how much better can this possibly get? Like, seriously. Like, and if we die together, then I guess we're going to do this together.
Story, I guess.
Yeah.
We did have that thought too many times. I'm sure we both did, but that's, I guess, like, to wrap up, one other little thing that we had talked about earlier about the guru thing. If you can't accept leadership or like coaching a little bit from an individual, like, get in a group. Like, groups are cool. I think that that's something that people can, if you're like really anti-guru or whatever, like everyone learns differently. Like, I got something different with my brain. I didn't learn very well in high school, but as far as like learning in groups and being around people, I'm like an osmosis guy too. Like, it's honestly, I haven't learned as much on these podcasts with you as I did when I was like around you day in, day out for like a week and just like pick your brain on random stuff. And like, it was casual and it wasn't like we weren't trying to perform anything. And I think that people could take note from that as like, get around a couple other people that you want to be like, and get in a group, get in groups, because groups are such a great learning experience for some of us, maybe that have different types of like learning methods. That's
such a great point. It's success by proximity is what I call it. And like and it's osmosis. If I'm sitting around enough people that are successful, I'm going to become successful, right? If I'm hanging out on the street corner slinging drugs or hanging out with those guys that are slinging drugs, what do you think I'm going to end up doing? I mean, I'm going to talk like them. I'm going to speak like them. I'm going to dress like them. You know, my behavior is going to be like them. But if I'm surrounding myself around a group of people, good people, as much and as often as possible, hopefully I can pick up some of their good, positive traits. And that's what this trip has done for me. Like Joe and I still stay in touch. Eric and I obviously still stay in touch. Jack Ryan and I still stay in touch. I mean, and you and I, you know, not as quite as much as I would like us to have stayed in touch after that. But I understand we're both busy, but I'm in a group that Joe Huffman's in, Jack Ryan's in, Eric O's in.
What group is that?
It's the cult culture.
It's the cult. Well, maybe this name is a little scary.
Yeah. Good. And I'm glad. Because I don't want to, yeah. I'm glad it's scary. But the what do they call it? You know, cult is short for culture, whether people know it or not. So the cult culture group, I'm part of that mastermind group, and I've stuck with it, and I get a lot out of it. I shared something.
How often do you guys meet, by the way?
Every other week.
Nice. Maybe I just need to join that. Is it expensive?
Not at all. Very, very, very affordable.
What day do you guys meet?
We're meeting now on Tuesdays at 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., 9 or 9:30 on Tuesdays. Okay. We just switched it up. Yeah. So it's kind of in the morning. I think where Eric is, I think it's probably at 8 o'clock because he's Mountain Standard Time. So on the East Coast, it's 9 a.m., 9 to 10. So did it yesterday, got very vulnerable with the group. I trust the guys that are in the group. Eric asked me a question. I was like, all right, screw it. I'm going to, because I guess, what was the question he asked? Like, what's going on in your life today that, your business that isn't going, you know, the way that you wanted to go, or whatever's bothering you or something like that, whatever his question was. And I got pretty vulnerable with the group, which allowed a couple of the other guys to open up because they're younger entrepreneurs and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm not afraid to share my experiences, whether good or bad or ugly. But you know, we all struggle with stuff, even though social media may make it look like it's all painted up and pretty and things like that. But I highly recommend, like you were saying, Tim, join a group, mastermind group, join a freaking gym. Right. Or something at your church. I know there's church groups too. Like my brother-in-law hangs out with a group of men from his church. They go mountain bike riding and they talk about leadership stuff. Like they follow us on social media, and basically those people, you know, I call them those people, they normal people, because I don't think I'm so normal. Like that normal people already do this stuff.
Yeah.
We have groups. You know what I mean? It's like, I didn't know that. I didn't know people. You know, I didn't know anything about fellowship or camaraderie, you know, and things like that, you know, but people, that's what people do. You know what I mean? And it's like, we don't have.
Well, you and I had a different activity that we would congregate with people about back in the day, you know. So
absolutely.
That was kind of a built-in like social club. And then you kind of like got to fend for yourself afterwards a little bit. So
absolutely,
you got to make it happen.
That's right. That's right, man. This has been a great episode. We're about an hour and 10 minutes in here. You got anything else you want to leave?
No. Hey, I just enjoy being on, and I really appreciate your show.
Me too.
I love that you're a constructive person and that you're a force for positivity in the industry. And I want to be like you. And I'm taking the stuff that you tell me, and I'm doing something with it, which I think, if you're ever even having some influence or mentoring somebody a little bit, it's probably the best feeling, even more than like financial compensation. Like, you know, I think it's part of it is the ability to like watch them do something real is based on things you suggested. I think that's probably one of the best feelings. If somebody's ever teaching you something, the best thing you can do is to actually do something with the information.
100%. The most rewarding thing is watching other people's success, you know, watching them become successful and winning, especially if it was advice that you shared with them. I mean, that there's nothing more fulfilling than that. I mean, that's where I find my fulfillment, is giving back and pouring into others. And that's one of the reasons why I continuously feel like we're just getting started, because I'm not done pouring into people. Like I just feel like there's much more that I want to pour into people. That's just where we get our fulfillment from. And if you're a human being and you're not a narcissist, that's where it's at.
Yes,
The-
sir.
You know what I mean? So anyhow, thank you guys for watching on your lunch break, if that's what you're doing today. But thank you for always tuning in. I see a lot of our repeat viewers on there. So thank you guys. Don't forget to like, love, share, comment on our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, rather, Spotify, Google, and Apple Play, and obviously here on Facebook Live every Wednesday. We're here 12 p.m. noonish every Wednesday Eastern Standard Time. Till then, you guys take care of each other, and we will see you next week. We have another great guest, Chris Wolf, with Wolf and Wolf. Will be our guest next week. So, and I'm assuming the name of his company is called Wolf and Wolf because that's his email. So anyhow, you guys have a good day, and we'll see you next week.